Hi, hi everyone. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Salam Ramadan to all Muslims. Salam MSCO to everyone. I'm Norliza Mohd Yusof from Clouston Design Studio. Will be your moderator for today's event and would like to welcome every one of you to our webinar. Been talking and sharing experience by two speakers on the topic of biophilic design and architecture. This webinar, for information, is actually the first ever program organized by Gamuda Parks in partnership with Think City Institute in conjunction with the International Day for Biological Diversity as shown in your screen banner today. It's always celebrated on 22nd May, today, yearly, annually since year 2000. So do join us virtually because we have long list, lots of programs scheduled for all of you to take part from today until 6th June next month. So for the today or for this year's celebrations, our solutions, the theme is our solutions are in nature. Through the series of webinars, we will be looking into the theme of biodiversity in built environment. So today, guys, we have two prominent speakers be sharing their experience and their knowledge with us. So I'm so grateful to have them on board. So we have landscape architect Khariza Khalid. She is the COO of Gamuda Parks as the first speaker. And secondly, we have architect Eleena Jamil. She's the from Eleena Jamil Architect or EJA Architects will be the second speakers. And at the end of both presentations, we're gonna have Q&A sessions, and I shall pick up one or two questions from your audience, so to be posted to the speakers. So I would recommend to you to tap in your questions earlier on the chat box that you seen on your right screen. So now, guys, without further ado, I shall call upon landscape architect Khariza, the COO from Gamuda Parks, as our first speaker. Hi, Khariza.
Hi,
Hi.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum
Waalaikumsalam,
everyone.
Khariza. Okay, before that, I will have the brief introductions of Khariza. Landscape architect Khariza is a registered landscape architect professionally. She's been with the Gamuda Park since 2003, leading landscape architecture department. And in 2018, she's been appointed as the COO of Gamuda Parks. She's graduated in Bachelor of Landscape Architecture as well as diploma in architecture from the same school, University Technology Malaysia, Johor. She's very passionate landscape architect. She's very vast experience. She loves to share her work on environmental aspect as well as community conservation activities awareness program via Gamuda Parks. So without further ado, I shall call upon Khariza. So over to you, Khariza, for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. My topic for today is on biophilic landscape. I will be showcasing one township today. But before I start, I would like to, explain on what is biophilic and what is biophilia. In my own interpretation, biophilic is your passion towards nature and the environment. But in the right term, biophilia is the urge to affiliate with other forms of life. Basically, your love towards nature in a short form. Okay, but why are we connecting to nature? The other important aspect of biophilic is that the biophilic design focus on human connection between nature and built environment. So it is important that we look and consider, why is it important to look into the environmental aspect. Biophilic design focus on not only plants, but it also focus on overall setting of habitat. When the habitat functions in the best interest of the organism, the ecosystem performs at the greater level. And what are the benefits of experience of biophilic that can benefit you? Biophilic can actually reduce stress, improve cognitive function, enhance your mood and creativity, and increase your health and well-being as well as productivity. But some people like to be close to nature. But what are the benefits of all these indoor plants? You're surrounding your home and your workplace with plants. There's a lot of benefits of this. One of it is actually it boosts mood, productivity, and concentration and creativity. It reduces stress, fatigue, sore throats, and cold. It also cleans indoor air by absorbing toxin, increasing humidity, and producing oxygen. It also adds life to a sterile office that gives privacy and reduce noise level. And one more important aspect is it is a therapeutic element, which is cheaper than a therapist. Okay, but if you are very stressful, you want to go out, you want to go outside, you go for holiday, you will actually, this is average, people will go out to the beach, or people would want to go up to the mountain for hiking, or people would just want to walk in the forest. But what are the benefits of all these elements to you? One of it is basically, sand actually rubs that skin off your feet when you walk on the beach, and you burn 20 to 50% more calories by running at the beach. If you go up to the mountain by hiking, it improves your cardiorespiratory, it improves muscle fitness, burn more than 400 calories in an hour. So if you actually go for hiking, I know that it will take you more than an hour. So what about earthing? Earthing is basically you walk on ground with barefoot. Earthing has a very great impact on you. Part of it is like it reduces anxiety. It absorbs free energy from earth, and it is actually a free reflexology and toe stretching, which is good for your foot. Other than that, we also use nature product for nature-based program for ecotherapy, where we have indoor garden, like what I mentioned earlier. We have our own herbal tea or detox drink and home remedy. All this has major benefits to us, There's benefits of this essential oil, for example, if you're too stressful, you want to go out, you want to go for a spa for treatment. When the moment you step into the spa, you hear the bird chirping, you hear the sound of nature, it increases the peace of mind. It promotes mental alertness, and it reduces anxiety. At the same time, enhance and calm a calm mind. Other than that, it also improves blood circulation. I did a simple research, on the demand of essential oil in US 2018. The demand goes up to 52.1 kiloton itself, but it is projected to be increasing up to 2025. In fact, in 2018, there are about 226.9 kilotons of demand of essential oil. But what are they used for? They are used for food and beverage, your personal care, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and medical application. So you are actually connected to all these natural elements without you knowing it. So now that we have this opportunity, I would actually want to bring you to one of our township. Okay, this township was built 17 years ago. And 17 years ago, we actually planted clusters of woodland mix in our township along the fringe of our golf course. Last year, we did an audit, and today I wish to share the finding with all of you. But why are we doing this? The reason why is because we understand the risks associated with development in context of environmental impacts during biodiversity loss, adaptation to climate and natural habitat, as well as social impacts. We want to dedicate this initiative towards the betterment of biodiversity with an understanding that biodiversity perform in ecosystem services that are crucial to human being both in short term and long term. It also acts as indicator that define the health of an ecosystem, because the more diverse the ecosystem, the healthier the environment for the community to inhabit. So welcome to Valencia. This is our only entry statement. We actually use a lot more green than hardscape, so we don't really have fancy gateway and all that, but this is what you see when you arrive at the main entrance. Valencia is a transit is in between Bukit Lagong Forest Reserve, which is about 5 kilometers away, and 10 meters away from Kota Damansara Forest Reserve. You can see that these two forests has a very strong and rich in terms of the biodiversity and conservation input. So it was we during the research we was told that Valencia could be the transit point between Bukit Lagong Forest Reserve to Kota Damansara Forest Reserve. So here we are. Valencia is actually about 288 acres of a boutique development resort club with 9-hole golf course completed in 2003, 17 years ago. And Valencia's plant life has actually developed into a nature-endorsed ecosystem that has seen the increased population of biodiversity. Valencia used indigenous woodland belts around the golf course and indigenous wetland plants around the ponds and stream. It is now home to a wide variety of birds and wildlife, but we have yet to showcase this to public. So coming back to the aspect of biophilia, how are we implementing this into our gardens is how we actually imitate nature with the gardens. So this is what I would want to share with you, the landform of, there are a few elements that I can actually share with you. One of it is landform. We are blessed with undulating terrain. The master plan and the architecture structures are designed and built in respect of nature, with minimal cut and fill, as well as import and export of earth. Valencia is a township where one can quite literally enjoy golfing in a setting that's reminiscent of opening in the rainforest. The application of natural elements such as mound and undulating ground create volume to the surrounding. As you can see, the footpath snaking over the mound, and you can see the house on the right hand side. So we also have, we created mound within open spaces. The earth mounding with open space define the entry into the courtyard cluster within the neighborhood in Valencia itself. The mound will be turfed and planted with indigenous forestry to create a simple, elegant environment of sweeping lawns beneath a high canopy. The other aspect of the landscape is actually the lakescape, which is part of the rainwater harvesting, the rainwater catchment area for the golf course, which is the lake. And we actually have a built-in irrigation system network with downpipes which carry rainwater throughout the system from 6 catchment ponds. It is also a natural waterfall. We have VS, but this is the only VS we have in Valencia. The VS act as flood mitigation before the water gets to the river, and it is actually non-mechanical. The water flows naturally without using any pump system except for the fountain. So apart from that, we actually use lake as cooling agent. The lakes are not only aesthetically beautiful, but it serves as natural cooling agent, act as temperature control for the environment. We are actually using plants, by the edge as filter, peace, and serenity. Plants along the houses as noise barrier. And the lakeside home is not only appealing, it also cleans the air for your senses, but it is also beneficial for the rest of your body. It can help to improve your immune function and reduce the severity problems like asthma. It is a self-cleansing lake because it's all connected, and we have a lot of fish and tortoise in the pond itself. So on the other side, one of the important aspects of the site is flora. We actually use tree buffer, and the tree buffer function both way. It's actually a beneficial habitat to support greater biodiversity and act as buffer and safety screen for homes overlooking the golf course, especially protection from golf balls. As you can see, the trees in Valencia has actually reached more than 20 meters away at height. So it actually also transpired 378.5 liters water in a day. It reduced aircon costs of 30%. It saved 20 to 50 energy for heating. And we have tagged 4,743 number of trees in the golf course. So this is the woodland mix. This is the actual photo. The mix consists an alternative variety of pioneer species and emergent planted around the golf course. So the buffer is a safe habitat for many desirable species, including birds, frogs, and squirrel, while allowing for an increase of species diversity around the lake. This is the result of the audit. The survey enumerated 151 tree species, 36 families, 4,743 trees were tagged, with 89 native species. Of all, we found out that we actually have 13 numbers of Hopia subulata, which is actually critically endangered species, and 97 stems of merbau tree, which is our national tree. And we also have evidence crown shyness with Tribulanops aromatica in Valencia. I flashed up these 13 species to indicate the conservation status. Hopia subulata is critically endangered, and we have 5 vulnerable and 5 nearly threatened species in Valencia. So this is a special fruit which actually found in one of the neighborhood garden. It's called Eleena Philippines. The workers actually harvest the fruit for juice and jams, and it's actually they've been waiting, and in fact that's our residents actually send their maid to actually wait for mahogany tree, which is Withinia microphylla, to harvest the fruit when it's fruiting. They say it's good for diabetic, but I'm not sure how is that. Anyway, the other important aspect is actually fauna. Birds were found in Valencia. There are about 46 species of fauna documented and comprising of 36 family. So one of it is black-crowned night heron. They have the whole habitat, which you can actually see later in the video. Okay, we also have kingfisher. This is a friendly bird. They will perch around the fruit and berry trees along our gardens, parks, and woodlands. We also have black-naped areole. It's also, they harvest on fruits and berries, and their breeding season is from April to June. Okay, you can see the whole family gathering, and chit-chatting over tea time in Valencia. So this is the result of fauna. We have about 29 species of birds, 7 species of mammals, and 10 species of reptiles. And purple heron, as you can see from the photo, was also spotted in Valencia. We didn't take survey of insect, but we managed to find this special species, and it is actually also act as a bioindicator of our water quality for the lakes. So with this survey, with the help of FRIM, we actually identified 3 nature hotspots at hole number 6, number 8, and number 9. So with that, we actually put up a signage, to educate our purchaser and resident, what can be found there, what are the species, what do you do if you see them, and why are they important? What is the message that we want to actually given to the purchaser? And we have a very good support from our resident, and we also put up a small G Parks Botanica corner, like a reading area where we actually put some flesh out some activities by Gamuda Parks. We indicate, we also put up the herbarium, which the specimen that we gather from the site itself. It's just awareness and education purposes. Other than that, we also have few more important of landscape element. We don't have fancy gateway like what I mentioned to you, but as you reach Valencia, you will be greeted by this rain tree planted along the main boulevard. It creates a green tunnel, and it is a very nice entry statement. Every time I drive in Valencia, I feel like I'm coming back home, and that is something that we want to shout out. And the development comes with the clubhouse for the community to enjoy. It's a full-fledged club facilities. But it's only meant for the resident. So we have swimming pool, we have fitness center, we have clinics, groceries, and also florists. Apart from that, we also have pockets park or neighborhood park within the cluster of housing. So all these facilities are connected. It can actually lead you to the golf course, and these support family activities, recreational activities like playgrounds and barbecue area and all that. So this is a natural trail. You can actually see how the house is connected to the environment, and it is actually very tastefully landscape done with a styling for a pleasant resort environment. A network of 6 kilometer, one loop, continuously paved walkway for jogging and cycling, neighborhood parks, boulevard, playgrounds, and leisure area. So we want to take you to Valencia. Pay attention to the arrow that I actually put on screen. This is taken in 2007. And next we will go to 2011. You can see the development of green within that area, especially along the golf course that I mark. Okay. And you can see the transformation in 2018. Sorry, 2019. Okay. Sorry, maybe I have to go back. Okay, you can see the transformation that the golf course area on this side, the amount of trees is actually, it's like sponge actually surrounding the side, and you can actually how it, goes into the neighborhood. So that is wonderful. All right. I'm towards the end of my presentation. But as you can see, the relationship of the golf course to the houses is actually very, very near. So you can see the undulation terrain, and you can see how green it is. It's very shady, and it's actually very calming. And when we began crafting the development, Valencia is really a place that was inspired and made by nature. We took note of the land's natural attributes, how it rises and falls. We were careful to determine where the waterways and the type of trees that grow there. And this is my last message. When you feel a little low, it's amazing how a walk in a park can do wonders. That's because when we get in touch with nature, we reduce mental fatigue and stress while increasing relaxation and self-esteem. Even brief exposure to nature has been shown to make us more altruistic and cooperative. This study shows touching a real foliage elicits an unconscious calming effect. Thank you so much. Thanks for your attention. And back to you, Norliza.
Hi everyone. Hi, thank you, Khariza. Thank you for sharing with us such interesting information and experience sharing, because I believe Valencia is for now, I could say it can be one of the green heritage that we have. Yeah, and then I believe that I believe also
Inshallah.
Valencia is now can be perceived as one of the carbon sequestration site. Hope if you and your team will live to go further for next analysis or study inventory of the park itself. So Khariza, yeah, so yeah,
Wonderful.
it's so
Thank you
interesting.
for the idea.
Yeah, it's
We
so
we did we
interesting.
did
Thank you
that.
very much for the sharing, Khariza. So thank you.
Thank you.
So now, guys, so let us hear from our next speaker. Is our architect Eleena Jamil from AJL. She will be talking about sustainable natural material and specifically on bamboos. So before further ado, I would like to brief on who is Eleena herself. Eleena is an architect trained in Welsh School of Architecture, Cardiff University in UK. She worked in UK after completing her studies, but rejoined the universities for her MPhil as well as PhD on research. She's also assistant lecturers at the same schools. So, but in 2005, Eleena came back to Kuala Lumpur. She set up we call her Animus studio in Kuala Lumpur. Since then, she's been working on expanding portfolio of works in Southeast Asia and always been published widely in international press. So currently or recently in 2018, EGA has been shortlisted for the Design Architects for the year of 2018. Without further ado, let's we call upon Eleena to present her presentations. So over to you, Eleena.
Thank you very much, Norliza, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. And I'd like to thank Think City and Gamuda Parks for including me in this webinar series. So today I'll be talking about sustainable material as we work with natural materials in our work. But the focus today would be very much on bamboo as a building material and its potential in application in mass developments. So I would like to start by highlighting the fact that the construction industry forms one of the largest consumers of resources and energy, and has also been recognized as being responsible for a huge proportion of waste and carbon emissions produced worldwide. And buildings and construction now account for 39% of energy-related carbon emissions, with 28% coming from energy use in buildings and 11% from the construction industry itself. So the impact of what we do as architects, developers, contractors, designers on carbon emissions are really huge. So extreme climate change that we are experiencing right now means that there is a need for a shift in the way we build our environment. And I believe using more renewable and biodegradable resources like bamboo will really help in reducing emissions and lessening the production of waste that we see piling around us. So as an architect, I feel bamboo offers architects and designers the opportunity to build more sustainably as part of an essential civic duty to overcome the effects of global warming and the excessive waste. So bamboo thrives in many parts of the world with different species growing in mainly developing countries. So there is certainly no shortage of the material or finding places to cultivate them. So you find the strong woody bamboo that is suitable for construction growing in South America with species like the Guadua angustifolia and the Dendrocalamus asper and the Bambusa blumiana in parts of Southeast Asia, and also the Moso bamboo in China. So why bamboo? bamboo, like most natural materials, is highly biodegradable. So working with bamboo means working within the limits of nature in a capacity of Earth's ecosystems and the ability to produce natural resources. So they form a renewable resource that are harmless when they are disposed or disintegrate over time. And bamboo has the ability to sequester a large amount of carbon. So in a well-managed plantation with kind of good harvesting regime, the amount of carbon that is locked in a bamboo plantation can be much more than trees. And bamboo plantations are also very manageable because it grows so quickly. So investing in bamboo for building materials involves a smaller period of return on investment compared to timber. So bamboo plantations are also self-replenishing because harvesting bamboo means that the root systems are still intact, and culms grow naturally. It grows naturally without labor-intensive cultivation. And one of the important things about bamboo is that it grows really, really quickly. It grows to full mass within 6 months, and bamboo is suitable for structural use. Can be harvested within 3 to 5 years. And if you compare that to trees, which takes 30 to 50 years to mature, it just makes more sense to use bamboo as a building material. And bamboo is nature's well-engineered material. It's often called the green steel for its remarkable strength. So the benefits of using bamboo in construction extends to the fact that it has high tensile strength parallel to the fibers that runs longitudinally along its length, comparable to most soft and hard woods. It's also a very efficient building material. This is demonstrated by the high level of stiffness based on its strength to weight ratio because it is hollow. So as such, their use usually results in kind of lightweight constructions that could minimize the sizes of foundations. And also it will ease site operations considerably. One of the greatest concerns about using bamboo is durability. So being a natural material, untreated bamboo will decay. It is susceptible to insect attack, like the image on the left here is an attack by powder post beetle, and on the right is a fungal attack. But these problems can be easily overcome by treating bamboo either naturally or chemically. So basically there are two types of treatment that are available. One is traditional methods, and traditional methods involve removing the starch and the sugar content in bamboo so that they are not attractive to insects. So traditional methods includes immersing whole culms in running water, for example, river, or just leaving it to dry in the forest, or smoking. For bamboo to be used as a building material, it's important that they are chemically treated with preservatives. And again, there are many methods for this. There is the open tank method where you would just submerge bamboo in preservative. Similarly for the steeping method. And there are more industrialized methods such as the pressure impregnation method, pushing the preservatives into the culms using pressure. You have the modified boucherie and also the vacuum pressure method, which is used in timber treatment facilities. And also there is the smoking method. So the versatility of bamboo can be seen in numerous bamboo structures that we see around the world in the past 10, 20 years. In South America, there are these amazing bamboo structures by Simon Velez, in Vietnam by Votrongia, and in Bali by the amazing Ibuku. In Malaysia, we worked on a number of public pavilions, and this is called the Bamboo Playhouse, as shown on the slide here, which is located in Botanical Gardens in Kuala Lumpur, and it uses local bamboo species. So bamboo in construction can be incorporated with modern technologies. For example, here on the metal roof of the bamboo playhouse are placed photovoltaic panels, which are fixed onto the metal deck roofing, and it generates power for lighting the playhouse at night. And here is an image of the playhouse at night. It also supplies energy for lighting the whole island and the surrounding site around the playhouse. So bamboo is also suitable for structures that are built in hurricane and earthquake zones, as they are light in weight, they have low modulus of elasticity, and the allowable stresses before failure is high. This means that it can take multiplied stresses before the culms start to collapse. I refer to the word culms a lot in my talk. Culms means that the full bamboo pole. And the image here on the slide is a wind-resilient bamboo classroom prototype that we designed and built in Camarines Sur in the Philippines back in 2011. And here in another project of ours is a bamboo pavilion that we designed in collaboration with UN Habitat at the World Urban Forum in Kuala Lumpur last year. And we see that the material can be used to design a contemporary and modern structure. So what these projects illustrate are the versatility of bamboo in different applications. So although bamboo as a building material has made considerable progress in recent years, a great deal is still required to place it on par with other materials, such as timber, concrete, bricks, or steel. And the use of bamboo in building is still not widespread. And one of the main reasons for this is that it's still seen as poor man's timber or poor man's material, at least in Southeast Asia. So living in a bamboo house may suggest to some, or to a lot of people, a kind of a regression of a living standard akin to living in a bamboo hut. And then contemporary use of bamboo in built environment is still spasmodic, with many examples found focused within two main types of settings. One is a charity or self-based efforts for underprivileged communities in rural developments, and the other is the sumptuous ecotourism industry, like the image on the slide here. And both of these building types have a tendency to favor a more traditional approach in application, resulting in styles that are, quite traditional. And in a tourist-based developments, a certain exotic and traditional feel is probably necessary to appeal to those looking to escape their everyday modern environment. But these developments don't really help the development of bamboo as a modern material in a way. So what I would like to see is bamboo being used beyond certain communities or industry to truly exploit this remarkable material. It needs to be applied to mass developments like housings or schools or offices. Nevertheless, the use of bamboo in modern building construction is confronted with countless difficulties. And for example, restrictive regulations, lack of national standards, building codes, and a bureaucracy encouraging standardized solution. This means that bamboo remains a material of the future rather than a material that is contemporary. In a self-initiated project, my office has been developing a prototype for terrace housing that could be used that could be built using bamboo. And what we're looking at is replacing at least 60 or 65% of the standard building material, for example, concrete bricks and steel, with renewable resource like bamboo. So the context of this project is Malaysia, but it could be applied to many parts of the world that grows their own bamboo sustainably. So we decided to start with looking at a popular typology in Malaysia, which is the terrace housing. And usually it's 2 stories or 3 stories high with living, dining, kitchen, and a little room on the ground floor and 3 bedrooms upstairs. So what we're trying to do with this typology and this project is looking at how we can industrialize the use of bamboo in a mass development, industrializing it and modularizing it, making it easy to prefabricate off-site and easy to fix on-site is the only way, I think, we could start to replace standard building materials like concrete, steel, and bricks. And what we are aiming with this is to come up with a bamboo housing proposal that would appeal to everyone. And most people have this preconceived perception of bamboo structures as being quite traditional, maybe rickety and not durable. And we feel it's important that the new bamboo housing design feels contemporary and reflects something akin to modern progressive lifestyle. And this is important, I think, for people to accept living in bamboo housing. So here we're proposing using bamboo in its most natural state, which is the full culm, as they expend the least amount of energy in their production compared to more engineered bamboo products. So here you see we are maintaining the masonry party walls, and this is important for preventing the spread of flame. We've also maintaining the ground floor slab made out of concrete, but everything else in terms of structure is made out of bamboo. And the bamboo terrace housing would have the same densities as a typical terrace home typology, which is very important to developers. It is 3 stories with overhanging roofs and balconies, and they double up as sun shading, which is so important to have in hot, humid countries. And the bamboo culms are very visible from the outside and making it instantly recognizable as bamboo homes. I think the living environment that we are proposing could potentially be very pleasant, with the added benefit of being eco-centric. And I think these images show quite clearly that modern contemporary housing is possible using one of the oldest and most sustainable building material. And another thing that we're looking in the Bamboo Terrace Home project is creating interiors that also feel contemporary. For example, the use of composite wall panels and floors that would allow occupants to wallpaper, hang pictures, paint their bedrooms if they like, as they would do in a modern home. One of the most important things to address in industrializing bamboo as a building material is making sure that the connections are efficient and easy to use. This slide shows details of connections that are used in the Bamboo Playhouse project, which are the traditional type. It's a combination of a friction between poles and rope lashings. They are cheap and easy to use. But traditional methods of jointing like this is a vernacular practice, as most are craft-based or custom-made, with the quality and strength of the connections dependent largely on the skills and workmanship of the worker, rather than precise mechanical calculations. So it works remarkably well in small projects like the one we did, but applying such practice in a large development is impractical, as it can add significantly to the cost and time of construction. So modernizing and industrializing bamboo culms and their connections will play a significant role in encouraging the use of the material in larger developments such as mass housing. And here are some examples of connections developed over the years by others. And in the Bamboo Terrace House project, we are also developing our own connection details, and so that it's easy to put together either in the factory as a prefabrication process or at the site itself. So we're currently looking at a prototype based on the technologies used to put together scaffolding, but in a more permanent way. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eleena. Thank you for the interesting presentations of how we can use bamboo as one of the alternative, because bamboo is considered as sustainable, natural material for structures. So now I got to know that the bamboo house, that was quite interesting structures in Taman Tasik. Yeah, so it's been designed and based on your idea, right, Eleena? So
Yes.
it was very interesting.
Thank you.
People have been talking about it once this is first put up in the park itself, right? So I would think, based on this sharing informations and looking into the detailings in terms of constructions being shared by Eleena, it will trigger us in order to make our own structures for lease or wakaf at our own place, and we own that. So thank you, Eleena, for the sharing. I think it's very interesting and meaningful to every one of us here.
Thank you.
I wish I can give a big applause here to you, Eleena, and also Khariza. All right, guys. Now we come to a Q&A sessions. I would love to call or invite Khariza back again online to join us for these sessions. Hi, Khariza. Welcome back.
Hi. Hi
All
there.
right.
Thank you.
So, for information for both speakers and all the audience, I have receiving a plenty of questions. So, due to
Okay.
the time limitations, some of the questions I have to crumple into one, in order to make sure we cover as much as we can. Yeah. So, the
Inshallah.
first questions that I have here, it's for Khariza. Yeah.
Okay.
The first question is from Luan in Kuala Lumpur. The question is go like this. I like the flora and fauna survey showing the biodiversity. My question is whether this is actually an increase from before the development, or it is just a lower impact compared to regular development. So that's what do you think about it, Khariza?
Okay. Thank you, Norliza and
Yes.
Yuan. To answer that question, unfortunately, we only did one biodiversity survey. That was only last year. We didn't do any survey back then in 2003, for example, or subsequent year. So we don't really have the result to compare what was there before and what is here now. But what we can do is that we are actually using this as our benchmark. So in the future, for all of our new project, we have to really impose that it is actually compulsory for all new project to do a biodiversity survey, so that we can monitor the state of the environment from time to time. That's all.
Okay. So I hope Luan, I hope Khariza did answer you well. So if okay, you just can come up in our chat box. All right. So let's go to the next question I received from Rida for Eleena. The question goes like this: how can bamboo be part of assisting our architecture to create new normal architecture in relation to COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia? I know Yasmin Lari is working lots with bamboo in Pakistan to do lots of initiative to create quarantine station, sinks and etc. for the 75% non-urban populations. So how about what you have, can you answer this, and what is your thinking about it, Eleena?
I always get the tough questions. I think if there is a need to address quick construction of buildings for the pandemic, then bamboo would be an amazing material for it because it's light in weight. It can be put together very quickly without heavy machinery, so site operations and costs can be reduced. And if we get the connection details right, it is, and we can actually put up structures very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So that will be great if there is a need for it.
Oh, that's a good idea as well, right? We have not think about how we can do it quickly because this can be assembled and disassembled quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So there's another questions about bamboo characters. I lump into two or three questions at a row. Um, First question from Mustafa Kamal is regarding, does the bamboo get stronger and last longer under weather or water? And second question is speaking about the strength of the bamboo. Can it be allowed to be scaffolding as been used in Hong Kong currently? So what do you think about it, Eleena?
Bamboo needs to be under roof cover for it to
Ah,
last a long time. So,
ah,
of course, the first thing you need to do is to have the bamboo treated. And the second thing is to make sure that it doesn't touch the ground because you don't want it to absorb moisture. Because once it absorbs moisture from the ground, then it will start to deteriorate very quickly. And the third thing is to have it all under cover as much as possible. Yeah, and if we follow these steps, and it should last a very, very long time. May I have the second question again?
The second question is about the strength of the bamboo.
Yeah.
It's been used in Hong Kong, used as for scaffolding for high-rise towers, building
Yeah.
constructions.
Yeah.
So can it be used the same method in Malaysia?
I'm sure it can be. If we want to, it can be done. And Hong Kong is great because they have actually regulated the use of scaffolding. So there is lots of building codes and regulations that would guide you on how to use scaffoldings in Hong Kong. But that doesn't exist in Malaysia. So, but it is easy to adopt the same kind of regulations that they have in Hong Kong and the same kind of guidelines to have it used in Malaysia. So
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a problem.
do you know, is there any effort pushing that through in Malaysia?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. That's why I think everybody's wondering about that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, we're gonna have one last question because the time is very limited for us to go further. But this question is for both of you or speakers. The question is from Shazlin. In fact, we have more audience having questioning the same topic as well. So the question is like this: provisions of good quality of biophilic design in township, for example, tend to be the enjoyment only for the elites, or at least for the upper middle class communities. And if there is provision for the non-elite neighborhood, maintenance always be the component that has always been neglected due to the high cost. What's your thoughts on this? Should the authorities play an important role on this? Okay, how about Khariza? Can you give your ideas and views on these questions?
Okay, thank you, Shazlin, for your question, and thank you, Norliza. To be honest with you, when we look into the application of biophilic into our design, with the mix of tree species, actually you don't need so much cost. So with the result from Valencia, actually we are going to apply the same concept to all of our township, regardless whether they are in the high
Wow,
end
great.
or in the low end. But what important is the selection of species is important. Maybe when you look at the photos, you see the golf course. The golf course may require a bit of maintenance, a bit more of maintenance as compared to your normal lawn because they have a different type of turf. But the only thing is that if you're keeping your planting area as only tree, you don't really need so much maintenance. And by using a mixed culture, a mixed species, it's like imitating the forest, So the tree will grow by itself. They are competing like they are
Yes.
in the forest. They will adapt to that situation. So that is one of the reasons that makes our township different, because we don't use that much of ornamental plant. Yes, we do use, but not that much, which require more maintenance. And if you use a lot of shrubs, flowering flowers, which require a lot more attention, that is where the maintenance come. But if you can see from the slide, you hardly see any colors.
Yeah.
That's from
Yeah.
me.
So how about you, Eleena?
Yeah. I do tend to agree. Most amazing townships are built for a certain class or certain group of people. But I think there is an effort to build low-cost housing within these townships as well. I guess that's one way to kind of making sure that everybody are able to enjoy this biophilic environment, which is so wonderful and as presented by Khariza earlier. And I guess the other thing to do is to kind of open up these townships as well to the public, because most of these townships, they are usually gated and they are kind of segregated from the rest of, parts from the rest of the city. So if they are, open up much more or parts of these parks, I mean, not necessarily golf courses, but just to have parks that are open to public would be so great
Wonderful.
to be
Yeah.
able to enjoy these things, because I don't think I would like to walk in the golf course because I would afraid to be getting hit by a golf ball while I enjoy the birds
Yes.
and the waterways. So I guess there's a way around them, but they are doing a great job.
Yeah. So I believe both of speakers have answered very well, and I'm very pleased to inform you we have to end up our Q&A sessions because our times are very limited, and that will be the last question that we had. Yeah. So before we end up the sessions, I'd like to thank very much to both our speakers, very prominent ladies, but we are very grateful to have them to sharing on what they have and experience together with all of us today. We have landscape architect Khariza Abdul Khalid, is the COO of Gamuda Parks, and we also have architect Eleena Jamil from EGA Architects for the interesting insights and creating our biodiversity within our built environment. So on behalf of the team, would like to say thank you very much, and I wish I can give you a big applause to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I
Hope
enjoyed
to see
that.
you soon.
Hope to see you in person soon.
All right.
Everyone. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So I believe that was very enlightening, and then we have learned a lot of things that as I do. So before we end our session, I would like to take this opportunity to highlight to you about another program we have, documentary screening regarding the forest, our planet forest, at 2:30 this evening. So do not forget to join us for this screening. Why I say so? Because this documentary screening is actually a winner of 2 Emmy Awards, a Netflix original documentary and series and groundbreaking collaboration between WWF, Netflix, and Silverback Films. So in this documentary screening, it showcase the world's natural wonders, iconic species and wildlife spectaculars that still remain as now. So don't forget. I hope that you will be seeing you at 2:30 this evening. So, unfortunately, everyone, we have to come to the end of today's sessions, and I hope every one of you have learned so much thing as I have learned today. So, before we go, I'd like to leave you with a video by Gamuda Park, and this is actually the first time, is the first ever they're gonna launch the video today on this very significant day. Is 22nd May, is the day International Biological Diversity Day, especially for you guys, the audience. So thank you for your time, and we hope to see you again. See you soon on the other programs. So from me, Norliza from Clouston, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Stay safe and stay home. Bye. Thank you.